shadows where the whispers dwell, always trying to unring the bell. The red road calls a path less known, with haunted streets where the eerie winds moan. Creatures lurking just beyond the light, not just tales spun to frighten the night. The masquerade of ghosts, they walk along in this gritty realm. We're all too young. Take the red road, let the spirits unfold. Follow RezNeck, Calkins, let the mysteries be told. Through the dark we'll weave into the unknown. With each step we take, closer to home.
Welcome back to another week of Red Road Paranormal. What's your favorite RezNeck? You know, in life, have you ever had one of them friends that you kind of just met, and next thing you know, it's hours later, you've been chatting with them, but you felt like you've known them your entire life? Well, that's one of my tonight's guests. He's a member of my para family here, Mr. Ed Levin.
Hey, Rez.
What's up, buddy?
Not too bad. I'm feeling good. We've got a lot going on this year, and we're going into our third year with SPIRE Paranormal, and we're picking up speed.
Yeah, you guys definitely are flourishing. You know, I've from the first time I met you until now, the leaps and bounds that the team has made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you guys are doing good things down there.
Yeah, we've got a great team. I mean, besides our main medium, Chrissy, and we've got, Mike Alsip he's really coming into his own with his mediumship.
Yes.
We've got Charlene, who I know from Scouts and everything, and Mike's kids are I don't know why that keeps popping up on our Facebook feed. The thing from last year, the Watsika thing. Anyway, and then we got Darren Moore's on our team now, and he's does his medium thing, and Jesse Hawthorne, and she's actually kind of our UFO expert. So we're going to start getting into the UFO thing now a little bit more, and I've been having people, hey Greg, I've been having people asking about us, possibly getting into the cryptid thing. I'm actually wearing my Hodag shirt tonight.
Nice.
So we've got all kinds of stuff going on, and just busy. I've got to sit there and try to find the time to go through all the footage that we've gotten over the last couple of months.
Dude, I know the pains on that one. Trust me. I could be stuck in front of a computer. Hey, Mike. Could be stuck in the computer for days, looking at footage.
Yeah.
For everything I have that's backed up in the past year or so.
And
sit down and do it. A couple of videos will be out on YouTube and spreading around, hour-long documentaries probably for much footage as I got.
Yeah, and I've really got to kind of be in the right mindset in order to sit down and do that, because otherwise I'll be sitting there falling asleep while I'm trying to, and you have to be, well caffeinated and, in the right mindset for it. So,
yep. See, I start wandering. I get squirrel moments while I'm watching footages. So
right.
It's like, then you got to back up. Well, what did I just watch? Make sure you missed something.
And I've got one of those minds too, where like at work because I work in for a medical manufacturing company. I do quality assurance. Hey Lee, I do quality assurance. So I'm sitting there going through batch records and stuff like that. In order for me to be able to concentrate on that and not have my mind wander off, I actually listen to audiobooks while I'm working.
Okay.
So, and I can't do that if I'm watching footage. So,
right. Well, you can for the visual things. What makes it a little hard with the audio?
Right.
Now, I had thought an idea years ago about it, and I'm not technically savvy enough to do it. But if you can watch your video on high speed to see if anything changes, especially like your X cams. but strip your audio off, put it on a file, and listen to it in the car.
Okay.
You know, because, you know, that's where we spend most of our time, is going back and forth to work or running around errands. You know, you put it in that file, you put it in, something comes up, you can stop, rewind it, and just mark your time. And if I do find something, to go back and re-listen on your computer or on whatever you're doing.
That's not a bad idea. I might have to try that.
So yeah. But unfortunately, you know, I get all these great ideas, but tech savvy, nah.
Got the ideas, but it's the execution that
exactly
where you're waiting, right?
Yeah.
So
yep.
But no, we like I said, we got a lot going on. You know, we just got done investigating the King and Queen Bar and Grill out in Humbird, Wisconsin, which is a good 4 hours north of where I'm at. I think it's just a little south of where you are.
Yeah, I think it was like hour 45, 2 hours, something around there. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
You know, I really wanted to make it, but unfortunately, scheduling conflicts.
Right. We had a great time there. It just turned out it was me and one of our newest members, this guy Ryan Connor that just joined us. We were out there, and the cool thing about this bar is it was built in the 1800s as a house.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they started to bring in the railroad track into the community, they converted it from being a house into being a hotel.
Okay.
Then it went from being a hotel to being a brothel. And now
layers.
Right. And now it's a bar with with an attached apartment next door, and then an upstairs apartment, because the upstairs apartment was where the brothel was.
Yep.
The owner Jessica was telling me that they actually have pictures of ladies out on the balcony, hi type thing.
Right. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh. Got Robbie's attention.
Yeah. Guinevere's upstairs somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You know, I'd like to go up to where the old brothel is and just to kind of see what the energy is like. See how many are still there and working. You know?
Yeah, we weren't able to go up there because somebody's actually renting out that apartment.
We'll kick them out for the night. You're big enough.
Right. The some of the stories though were pretty interesting. There was one gentleman that hangs out back by the pool table in the back of the bar. Apparently he was murdered, or they think that he was murdered following a pool tournament. And they found his body, you know, a little bit away from the bar. So he's hanging out in there. I guess his brother still frequents the bar, or was going in the bar, and they're like, you know, they were talking about how they were picking up on this ghost back there, and he's like, I think that's my brother. Then there's a little girl down in the basement that I guess she was killed. She was hiding from some sadness and misery. There's a little girl down in the basement, and she was hiding from some mobsters, possibly Capone's men, that were going into that into the bar, and I guess she drowned down there or something, because they get water down in there. And then the other one of the ghosts that came through pretty prominent in the night was this guy. I think his name was Roy. He was a regular at the bar, and he was a regular at the bar, and they actually have some of his ashes and this like little shadow box built into the front of the bar. And the cool thing about that was that I was actually serving him his favorite drink. The owner of the bar said that we're welcome to, pour drinks or whatever while we were there. And she was actually on our Facebook Live because we were doing a live at the time. And she was telling me that his favorite was a Windsor and Coke. Windsor being Canadian whiskey.
Yeah.
So I poured him a Windsor and Coke, and I actually happened to have some of Bill's nuts with me, so I dumped some of Bill's nuts out on a napkin for him.
Sweet and salty.
Yeah,
if you can't have Bill's nuts, you gotta try them. They're delicious.
Gotta have Bill's nuts in your mouth.
Yeah.
But he seemed to enjoy that, and the cool thing was, even though he wasn't able to make it out with us, Mike Alsip actually was on our Facebook Live with us, and he was actually kind of remoting in, which was really cool. Him and actually Jesse Hawthorne were both kind of remoting in. And kind of telling me like where the little girl was in the basement, and interacting with Roy and stuff like that. So that was cool to see them kind of expand their talents that way.
And from a medium side to do that, it's interesting. I've done it a few times. Actually, Gwen called me up last summer before we hung out from a location, had me kind of do it, see what I picked up. And it's weird because you're picking up all this stuff you don't know anything about. You don't even know what town you're in at this point. And you'll pick up things that just blows your mind. And then you go, oh, yeah, well, this is known here. And they tell you everything. And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to figure it out, but I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I might try a few things, experiments with them if they're not able to come out to stuff. I've been told that sometimes if they give you an item that they can focus on, that will kind of help a little bit with that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. Of course, I prefer to have everybody out with us when we go to these places, but not everybody can make every event. So
yeah, I prefer boots on the ground myself, to actually be in the location, to feel every nook and cranny and vibration there. But sometimes, like you said, you can't make it. So when you're able to tap in from a distance, it's interesting. I know I've worked with Diet in the past, with her doing a walkthrough with me. And she wasn't even looking to see her. I had my phone going, I'm showing everybody around while I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. You can see the room and all that. Not even paying attention, and she's picking up on everything there. You know, it's like not even looking where we're at. Watch your step there, type of thing. What mediumship abilities can do from a distance. Right. It's a cool concept, cool thing that, I think everyone should probably try to practice.
Yeah. I noticed one of the notes that popped up on the screen here was trigger object. Trigger object is more when you bring an object that has something to do with what the spirits that you're interacting with. Actually, when I go out to
your drink, that's the trigger object right there.
Right.
The Windsor and Coke.
Right, the Windsor and Coke and Bill's nuts were the trigger objects. I actually kind of, now looking back at it, I kind of we didn't get a chance to, but I kind of wanted to play a game of pool and see if that brought up anything with the guy in the corner back there. But like when we go out to the Watseka Courthouse in Iroquois County, the old Iroquois County Courthouse Museum. There's a fella down in the basement jail, if you remember, Martin Marin. When we go down in there, I actually bring I have a snake whip, and the story behind Martin Marin is that he murdered his son, beat him to death with a snake whip, and did a few other things to him. and then he buried the body, went into town, told the sheriff that his son ran away and needed help finding his son. And then alrighty. And then basically the townspeople, when they found out what happened, because his daughter actually turned him into the sheriff and said, no, my father killed my brother. They came, pulled his ass out of jail and threw a big old party and had a lynching party, strung him up. And the noose that he was hung with is hanging right there on the wall, as you remember. Yep. You were there with me.
Oh yeah.
In the jail cell.
Some unique energies down in that jail cell area.
Yeah.
Some of the sounds we came across that we were down there, and then the dual Estes that me and Mike did down there.
Yeah, that was
coming through.
That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. I still wish I had the camera down there and we weren't just recording on your phone.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I'll do is I'll put that whip on the table there, down in the jail cell there, and I'll put either a cat ball or my haunted trigger object device on it, and he'll set that thing off like crazy, trying to grab at that whip.
Yeah.
I was actually out there this past weekend with my scout crew, my venture crew, and hey, Mylan.
Hey, Mary.
And we had I had the table, the whip out on the table, and as soon as I put that cat ball in the middle of that thing, it started going off for a good 5 minutes, and then finally it stopped. And the interesting thing is he wasn't talking to us a whole lot when I was down there with the kids, but then at the end, when we were getting ready to head out of there, I said, all right, I said, if you're not going to talk to us, then we're going to head out. And then the spirit box comes through and goes, get out of here.
Right. He obviously didn't want to do with any crotch goblins. He didn't want his own, so
yeah.
Well,
I mean, these were 17-year-old kids, so they weren't really crotch goblins at that point.
Teenagers.
Yeah. So, but we had a good time with the kids out there. Diana, the curator of the museum, is awesome, and she always treats us well, and it's such a fun building.
I'd like to try an experiment down there. Take a deck of cards and a couple of shots, set them up on the table, and let's play a round of cards and see if we can get them to play in with us.
It's funny that you should mention that, because I was actually talking about I wish I had a deck of cards that we could play poker or blackjack or something, or spades or whatever. See if we could get them, because we know that he's the most prominent spirit down in the jail, but as we found out when you were down there with us, he's not the only one.
Oh no, by no means is he the only one.
No, there's a couple of them down there. I still love the way when we were doing the double SD session where you're like, I hear a woman's voice and it's not real loud, and all of a sudden Mike goes, she's a bitch.
Yeah. you never know what's going to come through on them.
Yeah.
And especially if you kind of zone out and listen enough, not only will you get the direct answers you're looking for, but you'll pick up the conversations that they're having on the other side back and forth.
Right. Yeah, like Mike said, his two kids are down there with him too.
Yeah. I didn't like the what was that? The boiler room, that back corner, the repair shop area.
Yeah.
Like that was the only spot in there I didn't really care for.
Yeah.
It was just that whole ick to it.
Yeah. I did actually confirm with Diane that back wall in there where it's got like all the blackened wood and everything like that, that actually was the coal room. That's where all the coal came in at. So that's what all that is the residue from the coal.
Yeah.
So nothing caught fire down there, nothing was burnt down there, but that was the where they piled up all the coal.
Yeah. Besides, someone was stashed in there too at one point in time.
Right. Right. So,
but who knows? Who knows what you're going to find? The more you go back, the more you get to dig in, the more layers of that onion you get to peel back. You know, the more answers we get.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's why, when people ask, why do you go back to the same locations? Because I want to know the whole story.
Oh yeah.
Or
Yeah, I mean,
start to finish.
well, I mean, look at Broadhead. I've been to Broadhead. I don't even know how.
That's my home away from home.
Right. But every time we go in there, there's a different experience. There's, now that we can get into the library, and Mike and I and actually Derek from Eternal Paranormal, we all got to investigate the library last year a little bit. But now that they've got that all cleaned up, hey, Mike, that's Michael Van Bladel, another one of our SPIRE team members, him and his wife, Terry.
Cool.
Great couple.
Very nice.
They, but now that they got the library all cleaned up, we'll be able to investigate in there a little bit more and see what's going on. That's the wife. But it's like Mike Bill said that basically because they just opened up the building for the season, it was closed all winter, and they had that public investigation with Eternal Paranormal. They were getting all kinds of activity, and the janitor, I guess, was making all kinds of off-color racist remarks, and the principal were making all kinds of racist remarks, which they never really did before. Hey, Jay.
What up, Jay?
So it's like the spirits are starting to get comfortable with everybody being in there. So they're starting to open up a little bit more. Their personalities are coming out a little bit more. We put Mike and Tom from Eternal Paranormal down into the crawl space under the workshop down there.
Mm-hmm.
And they came across a female spirit by the name of Anna. And, and they started communicating with her. She was all new. We were there for one of the public investigations, and I discovered there was a nurse hanging out in the old teacher's lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Sheila was around, when was it? I want to say Rockdown.
Yeah.
She was around at Rockdown.
Yeah.
I remember her from that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think that the spirits there kind of come and go as well. You've got your mainstays there, the principal, the janitor, of course, the elementals and a bunch of the kids that are always there. But then I think they've got some that kind of pop in and out and aren't always there. Mr. Scott, the science teacher, he seems like he's there some of the time.
Yep. I haven't interacted with him yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I recently got to interact with Susan Sally. I don't know which one we want to call her yet. I haven't decided. She would be like the principal's wife. I actually picked up on 2 different names regarding to her. So I almost wonder if,
she's actually the secretary, I believe.
Okay.
And her name actually isn't Sally. It's something similar, but it's like got a different spelling. So I think her nickname was Sally.
Yeah.
I'd have to look her back up again. But the principal's wife actually was. She's not there.
Yeah.
I actually went to his grave and her grave. They're buried at the cemetery right around the corner. He, interestingly enough, he was a Freemason.
Okay.
And of course, the building was built by Freemasons. It's got the owl on carved into the stone there, and she was one of the Sisters of the Eastern Star.
Okay.
She's got all the emblems and everything on her tombstone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to take a ride. We'll have to take a ride over to the cemetery and check it out.
Yeah.
You know, what I would love to do, I know we aren't able to, with that cemetery being right down the road from there, I'd like to set up, you know, 2 separate investigations, one in the cemetery, one at Broadhead, and see who actually goes back and forth along them tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've always wanted to do, but I know can't do it. They won't allow it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go if we go in there during the day. You know, we probably could.
Yeah.
I've got walkie talkies that have enough range on them.
Yeah.
You know, or use their cell phones or whatnot.
Yeah, we could try that during the day sometime.
Yeah,
I think that'd be very unique to find out who travels back and forth.
Yeah,
you know, because that building's been there forever. You
Yeah.
know, so just about everybody in that town in the past till the present has probably passed through them doors at one point in time or another.
yeah, yeah. And I believe that there's a portal in the crawl space underneath the workshop.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting because Broadhead has a tendency to draw in spirits that are connected to the people that are investigating there.
Yeah. Well, we all carry our loved ones and our guides with us everywhere we go. It just might be a location that we're more in tune and apt to actually hear them and experience them.
Yeah,
Because I've had investigations where other people's loved ones have come through at the strangest times. You know.
Yeah, yeah. We were doing a learn to investigate night, and a friend of mine was out there with his daughter, and his daughter had a stepfather that had passed away recently, and the stepfather came through during our investigation from there, which kind of freaked her out a little bit, but you know, we got through it. But you know, that has happened. I know Bill has said that his father has come through here and there.
But if you think about it, you have your equipment out, you're actually openly looking for spirit communication. So if your loved one's following you, they're going to say, hey, here's my time. I can get my last message out. Or I can say something, let them know I'm by you. You know? So, special, you know, as every locations that we go to, I think it's just the fact that we're giving them the opportunity to communicate with us. And that's why our loved ones and our ghosts that are attached to us come out. You know, you're opening up that line of communication at that point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's interesting when you get into these different places and see what's going on. I find it interesting too that a lot of these haunted locations, they basically have like railroad tracks running right alongside them. Or they have a river running right nearby or something like that. Because I mean, Broadhead's got the train tracks right there. The Watseka Courthouse has the train tracks right there. You know, and a couple of other places that we've investigated have the train tracks right there. And of course, that brings in that energy and and all the transient spirits that are following down the steel tracks there and everything like that.
And then another thing in our area you watch for is limestone. So if you have a lot of buildings with limestone in their foundations, you have the tracks there, it's just going to store that energy.
Right.
Also, therefore, it makes it, in theory, easier for the spirits to communicate with us. Or show us their presence.
Right. And of course, Broadhead has got a big limestone base.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so we've got that going on. Next month, our team is going to be out at the Tinker Swiss Cottage out in the Rockford area, which I'm excited about. I've never investigated there.
I'm jealous. It's on my list for one of these days.
Yeah. A couple of our folks have been out there. Mike has been out there. Mike Alsop has been out there. Darren Moore has been out there. Jesse might have been out there, but I'm not sure. So they're looking forward to getting out there and investigating with as the SPIRE team. You know, they've got a couple of insights out there. Chris Fleming may actually join us for a little bit while we're out there. So kind of looking forward to that.
Nice.
Investigating with him a little bit.
Amazing guy.
Yeah. Love him. He's an absolute great guy to talk to and
amazing, down to earth. You know, I every time I've come across him at Paracon, we sit down, he chats with me. He either comes up to the booth or invites me over where he's at, and we sit and just chop it up. Yeah.
We were out with him at the Obscura Paracon just last week, not last weekend, but the weekend before. And he was out there hanging out with us for a little bit. That was a great Paracon as well. Mr. Willie and Jenny Davis put that on and they did a really nice job. They had an investigation at the old Egyptian theater out there.
Okay. Which
was fun. SPIRE had actually investigated the Egyptian 2 years ago. And it is actually funny. The manager Alex came walking up to me. He's like, "Hey," he goes, "How long has it been?" So he remembered me, which was pretty cool. But
Ed, you got a face you can't forget. Come on now.
Right back at you, buddy.
I know. I got a face for radio. I can't help it.
Exactly. So I used to say that back when I was on the radio. Right. But yeah, that location is awesome as well. If anybody has any teams out there or whatever, definitely reach out to Alex at the Egyptian Theater, because that place is an awesome place, incredible place in DeKalb to investigate. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, what's up?
Ryan is the newest member of our team. He's the one that I was telling you he joined us. He's going to hopefully help us edit out some of our videos, and he comes with I think he said 20 years paranormal investigation experience. So I mean he's got a lot of great ideas and stuff like that. He was the one that was out at the King and Queen Bar and Grill with us. So yeah. But the Egyptian Theater, like I said, is if you get a chance to get out there, contact them. It's a great place to investigate. They've got a old vaudeville performer. They call her the lady in green. But Chrissy, our medium, actually saw her in a gold evening gown. She says she's like, green is she. It might be the way that she comes through when people see her, but she's wearing gold. But and she's actually, her name is Ida. We figured out who she was because there's a picture of some of the old vaudeville performers in a case. And when Christy started describing her to me, I'm like, wait, come walk over here and let me show you this case. And she's like, that's her. So that was pretty cool. Nice. There's a bunch of other spirits roaming around in there. There's a guy that used to work there that unfortunately had a heart attack and passed away in the building. He's still hanging around, and there's a couple of performers that are down in the dressing room area. One is very upset and is always crying in the bathroom. Stuff like that. So a lot of really great entities and experiences in that building as well. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of 7 Egyptian themed theaters left after, I guess back in the 1920s, there was this big boom that they were building all these Egyptian buildings. And that's one of 7 that are left.
Nice. I have to put it on my list. Definitely. I enjoy doing theaters. I don't know. To me, a theater is more like fun and play than it is work. Because there's some investigations, it's like I feel like I gotta actually work and feel back. Where the theaters, that's a whole different feeling.
Yeah.
Every theater I've been in, it's not like your typical investigation.
No, they tend to be. Is it near the courthouse you were showing me? No, it's not near the courthouse. So the courthouse is in Waseca, Illinois, and the theater is in DeKalb, Illinois.
Yep. Yeah, they're a grip apart, my friend.
Yeah, good bit of distance between them. But yeah, theaters are always fun. And I was a theater kid in high school. I mean, I played football and everything too, but I was a theater kid in high school, and I like to get up and do karaoke and ham it up. So anytime we get into a theater or someplace where there's a stage, I'll start singing or
Right.
Actually, when we did the Egyptian theater, I pulled out the monologue from Hamlet, the last poor Yorick, I knew him, type thing, and
I can see you doing that.
So anytime I have the opportunity to be a ham or be a little bit goofy, I'll definitely do that. And of course, if anybody else wants to on the team, they're certainly welcome to as well. But I tend to be the goofy one.
Though, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Sometimes there's times to be serious on an investigation, and there's sometimes you need that goofiness, that joking around. Because that will change and raise the vibrations of the area.
Oh yeah.
I was recently out on one where we were down in a basement and we weren't getting much energy. So I started cracking jokes, and all of a sudden equipment's all going off everywhere.
Yeah.
We gotta remember that. They still have their personality that they had when they passed.
Yeah.
So if they liked good humor, it's a good way to break the ice.
Yeah, and while we do take what we do seriously, especially when we're going into private homes or trying to assess a business that hadn't been investigated before, we definitely want to take things serious, but at the same time we don't take ourselves too seriously, and as a team we do have a tendency to joke around and give each other a little bit of crap here and there. When we were out at in Waseca, was it last year in August when we were investigating the building? We were in the chapel up on the second floor, and Mike and his son were sitting there talking about the room and stuff like that, and I happened to kind of like be at the far end of the room, and I didn't really hear them the preach. Yeah, but Mike sits there. His son says something, and Mike went preach, and I heard Mike say preach, and the way he said it was kind of breathy or whatever. And I thought it was a disembodied voice, and I'm like, did you hear that? What was that? Type thing, and Mike just went with it and let me think that I heard a disembodied voice for a good, I don't know, I think it was probably like an hour.
Way to go, Mike.
Yes, I got permission to be on here.
The only permission you needed to be on here was from me. Yeah,
no. So like I said, we have a tendency to give each other crap about stuff, and so I got a lot of crap over that preach thing, and we have a good time when we get out there and do stuff.
Yeah. Well, heck, we locked Mike in a closet, let the spirit close the door and everything. We left him there for a few minutes.
Yeah, that was at the Roth House.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let the door close and just kind of sat back and go, what's going to happen now?
Yeah. Yep, we definitely did that. And of course, every time I end up at Broadhead with you, we have to go through all these safety meetings.
Yep.
And
gotta be safe.
Yeah. And of course, I don't know how safe we are after the safety meetings, because
a little less ambition and a little more willingness to do whatever, the whole FAFO thing.
Right. So I will say Broadhead is the one place that I feel comfortable enough to do that. You know, when I'm investigating or whatnot. Otherwise, I don't typically do any of that type of stuff when I'm out on an investigation. But Broadhead, I tend to let my hair down a little bit more, I guess you could say.
Home away from home.
Home away from home.
Have some candy and have a good time.
Yeah, yeah. We locked Derek in the crawl space under the stage at Broadhead. That was a fun, and then I stuck a camera down there with him and recorded him while he was down there.
Oh yeah,
and he's down there, and we start like beating on the stage, and so he's like, oh my god, what is that type thing?
Straight torture.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So you know, like I said, we have a good time, and like you said, the spirits they tend to I guess get energized by that.
Yeah. They like to play around too.
Oh yeah. So, but
yeah. So now I want to backtrack here. You're talking about getting into UFOs and cryptids and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So have you ever seen a UFO yourself or experienced any kind of evidence of a cryptid?
I have seen a UFO.
Okay.
Or at least I think I saw a UFO. I was out in West Virginia at the Summit Bucktail Scout Reservation in 2023. I was out there for the National Scout Jamboree. And
well, let's clarify this real quick though. You weren't drinking none of Grandpa's cough syrup while you're...
No, it was a scouting event. I was...
That's what I'm asking. Make sure there's no cough syrup involved.
No,
we know alcohol ain't allowed.
No, I was sober as a preacher.
That ain't saying much.
Okay. Anyway, we were out there, and I was just kind of looking around and looking up in the sky, and I saw what I can only describe as like a white pill-shaped object.
Okay.
Just kind of hovering in the sky. And I sat there and I kept thinking to myself, oh, what is that? I should grab my phone and take a picture of it. And for whatever reason, I was just staring at it, and I couldn't grab my phone. I couldn't like focus enough to do what I'm thinking that I needed to do, grab my phone, take a picture of it, get it on video or whatever. And it's just kind of hovering in the sky there.
Yep. And
then all of a sudden it just took off.
So basically you're saying it mesmerized you.
Yes, it mesmerized me. So I would say that is probably my one, if anything, UFO experience.
Okay.
I definitely believe that there are other, creatures
life
or whatever
forms
out there. I mean, it would be pretty pretentious for us to think that we're the only living, sentient, thinking creatures in the universe, the galaxy, whatever.
Yeah, I refuse to believe that this is the only rock the Creator put life on.
Right.
Sorry, there has to be other life out there.
Right. And I honestly believe that that they were definitely interacting with the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Aztecs. I mean, there's all kinds of proof. Plus, I mean, you've got the Egyptians were building pyramids, and they were worshiping all the sun god and moon goddess and all that type of stuff. And the Aztecs were building pyramids, and they were worshiping all the same type of entities, and they were worlds apart, type thing. I think some cryptids could possibly be confused, could be ETs, or we could confuse extraterrestrials as being cryptids.
Very well possible.
There's I know that there's the theory that that Bigfoot is actually are actually aliens.
Yeah, I've heard that one. You know, well, if you also think about it, though, you know, who says that we're not the aliens? Who says
Right.
Bigfoot wasn't here first and we were genetically made to be here? You know, there's, I believe,
Right.
what's Polynesian gene that
Right.
only 5 cultures across the whole world have. Native Americans are one of them that have that
Hmm.
one gene in their system, but no one else does. So
Right.
if we're all from the original clans that were here, who says that
Hmm.
we didn't start off as ETs and then evolved into what mankind is now?
I kind of wonder if we're not some alien culture's reality TV show.
Either that or ant farm.
Exactly. Same thing. Ant Farm
Yep.
reality TV show, Truman Show,
Yeah.
whatever. They put
Right.
us down here and said, okay, let's see what you know what we can get them to do or what they'll do if we leave them alone, type thing. And you know, maybe if things start getting a little bit too boring or whatever, they'll drop in and give us some kind of new technology for us to play with and blow ourselves up with, and you know, and whatnot. You know, I've had that conversation multiple times over the years that, you know, maybe
Yep.
we're just kind of, you know, the earth is some kind of big arena and they just kind of stick us all in here to see
What
how quickly
happens?
we can. Yeah.
Some teenage aliens, you know, biology class experiment,
Right.
you know, for all we know. You
Right.
know, and yeah, and yeah, I do wonder though, when they drive by, do they lock the doors on their spaceship, say, hey, they're not evolved enough yet. They even get to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
because we are a pretty violent race,
Yeah.
you know, and what are they? Are they evolved more? Are they just as violent as we are? There's so many unknowns. We would like to think that they're highly advanced and evolved and peace and love, but that's not always the case with some of these reports.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and now, you know, it used to always be everybody talked about UFOs and things like that, but now they're starting to talk about um underwater UFO, well, underwater.
USOs.
Yeah. You know, and you know, did they come from Atlantis? Were they just always down there? You know, are they something
Mhm.
from, you know, below the Earth's crust, kind of like Land of the Lost type thing?
Well, we would have some of these answers, but we spend more time overall exploring space than we have our own oceans.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for us to go to space than it is to the floor of the ocean.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so that's where we have expanded our knowledge. But yeah, who knows? They could have came here, landed, made a base of their own in the ocean, or is
Mm-hmm.
that where their original base is from, and they're coming up, and that's where they created us?
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
know, then you got the ones that they see flying in the mountains.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
when you think about it, we haven't really explored space all that much. The
nope,
farthest we've gotten out there, you know, manually or manual flight, the farthest we've gotten is the moon.
yep,
And remote flights, the farthest we've gotten is Mars. And you know,
hmm
the Mars rover, they keep saying, you know, they're like, oh, there's, you know, they've seen footprints or you know, tire treads, or you know, they've picked up this or that, or the Mars has gotten like this weird image that like something like a shadow of something out there. But then, you know, it's and like as soon as they put that type of stuff on TV, then they're like, oh no, it was something else.
yeah. Same thing you did with the moon.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, we definitely don't have warp light, you know, faster than light travel yet. So you know, if they're
Well,
sharing their technology, they're definitely keeping all the good stuff to themselves.
right, yeah. Or the government's keeping it under wraps.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
that's how I think a lot of technology sits, and it just kind of sits on a shelf for them to play with when they want. And
Mhm.
eventually, they'll release it.
Right. Right.
Mm.
What was there are
But
military officials say there are underwater bases in
isn't-
Antarctica. Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
and there's restricted flyover spots. supposedly there's pyramids up in the ice caps there
Yeah.
that are underneath the ice that we can't per se go and look at or can't look at on Google Maps or nothing because they have it blocked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, why would they have it blocked out if they weren't trying to hide something?
Yeah, and supposedly they've discovered whole like highway systems and stuff below the oceans.
Yep. Yeah. Was it Bethany Road or something like that? Is one of them.
Yeah.
Starts on land, goes right out into the ocean to God knows where.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah. So we're coming up here a little bit on the hour mark. So first thing I want to say is give you a chance to self-promote any events you got coming on, how do people get a hold of you?
Yep.
Everything you got going on, a whole ball of wax.
All right. So May 30th, we have public investigations going on at Broadhead Manor. We're doing 2 sessions. We're doing a daytime session from noon until 6 p.m. And then we're doing a nighttime session from 6 until midnight. The noon to 6 p.m., that one is $35. The nighttime one is $45 because there's pizza involved. If you want to do both, it's $60 for both. So you can spend the whole day there with us.
That's
the team
well worth it.
Yeah, the team will be out there all day, doing that type of stuff. And of course, we love Broadhead. We'll be out there again in June for the Bearded Brawl. That's I think that's June.
Hold on, I can tell you here because I will be there. It's 5th and 6th.
June 5th and 6th. Yes.
Yeah, the 6th is the brawl. The Bearded, the actual event. I'll be down there all weekend.
I'll be out there as well. On June 13th, we'll be at the Chicago Paranormal Convention. That one's in Countryside, Illinois. That one's run by Jack Chavez.
Yeah.
October 24th, we're getting together with Graveside Paranormal, Neil Gibbons' company, and we're going to be doing an event out at the Watseka Courthouse. So you'll want to watch our Facebook page for that. We've got all the socials. So we've got SPIRE Paranormal on Facebook.com. We've got a TikTok. We've got all that stuff. But mostly we do everything on Facebook because we're old, and apparently that's where all the old people hang out. So
that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So yeah, we're there. We've got our YouTube channel, which hopefully we'll be getting a lot more videos out on. We've got a few out there now, but we'll be putting out more content on our YouTube. So just look up the SPIRE team on YouTube. You can always email us at ghostlyspire@gmail.com. If you have, if you want to come out to the Broadhead public investigations or message us on Facebook for that. And then also, if anybody out there has a home or business that they think has got something going on in it, you can certainly contact us that way and talk to us about coming out and visiting your home. We do house calls and business calls. Also in November, we'll be out at the Days of the Dead convention with Tribe 3 and the Cryptid Convergence. So we'll be out there in November. I'll be out at the New Orleans Paracon. We've got a vendor table. I'll be out there with you, Rez, and we still have to figure out where we're stopping on the way out there and on the way back.
Yeah, I know. There's so many places. Food wise, I already got a couple ideas, but as far as for fun and for investigating, I don't know yet. We gotta do a collaboration while we're on the road together.
Yeah.
So that's coming down the pike, guys. So make sure you keep an eye open for that.
Yeah.
Rez and SPIRE, we're gonna light it up.
Right. We're in talks right now with the Rialto Theater, or not the Rialto Theater. I'm sorry, the Genesee Theater in Waukegan, to do some ghost tours and stuff there. So definitely, watch our our SPIRE Paranormal Facebook page and everything else. And as the events are booked and we get things going, we'll definitely be posting it all out on there and letting people know where we're going to be.
Very cool. Now we got a few minutes left. Anywhere in the world you could go to investigate. Here, overseas, where's your number one bucket list place?
Oh God, there's so many.
Money is no option.
Mm.
Access is no option. Anything you could dream of.
Honestly, the White House.
Interesting. I didn't see that one coming, but okay. How come?
So there was actually a documentary that was on Discovery Channel called "The Devil in the White House," and
in the White House, Devil in the White House, yeah, something like that. I
remember
or
that. Something like that.
Schrader was in it,
right? And they were talking about how Mary Todd Lincoln was a spiritualist.
Yeah,
and she would hold seances and things like that. And there's been stories over the years of different hauntings around the White House, whether they're, people who were servants that passed away there, or the ghosts of various presidents and their wives and things like that. I think that would be just a really cool, interesting place to investigate and see what you could dig up.
I could see that. What kind of secrets is truly being held behind?
Right, Mary Todd hauntings. But and of course nobody's investigated that we know of.
Right.
Because it's high security, high, you can't, we don't want the ghosts giving away national secrets.
I think Trump would let somebody in if we asked nicely.
Well, I'm not going to go there.
I wouldn't either, my friend. I wouldn't either. But yeah, that'd be an interesting place to investigate. With all the history that's been there, as long as it's been there, all the different people, presidents, the families, the workers. Everyone leaves a little bit of energy behind. So yeah, that'd be a killer active place.
Yeah. I think it really would. I think a lot of these, even the state capitol buildings and governor mansions and stuff like that, I imagine they all got to have something.
Yeah, stories. Secrets beyond secrets.
I always say that all hotels are haunted at some point.
I agree.
All theaters are haunted to some degree. All schools, all camps, all these places that that there's a lot of people congregating, that there's a lot of energy, good, bad, whatever. That energy tends to, these places soak it up like a sponge.
Yep.
And what always amazes me whenever we go someplace that has never been investigated before, and there's all these spirits hanging around, like when we did the Antioch Freemason Lodge, there was a good dozen or so spirits hanging out in there, and we went in there and started investigating. They're like, wait, are they here talking to us?
Right. And so I love going to places for the first time.
Yeah.
Untapped. They're virgins. No one's ever been there. No one's written a story yet. To go in there and get that information, to start peeling them layers back, and be the first one to do it. Some of them places, they don't get it that they can work with the equipment.
Yeah.
And then some of them it's like boom, they're right on it. They're that's,
And that too is why I bring out all the different types of equipment that we have, from the low tech dowsing rods to the high tech lights and stuff. Because sometimes you'll be sitting out there. And I always tell everybody that paranormal investigating is a lot like fishing.
Yep.
You get out there, you start putting out your base, trying to see what hits, what doesn't hit. Sometimes you get hit right away. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you got to dial it back and go a little bit more simple. And I mean, I've been in a location where we had all the electronic stuff out, the V pod, the yes no triangle, the REM pod, or the K2 meter, the light up cat balls or whatever. And I'm sitting there going, okay, there's nothing going on. Nothing's interacting with us here. I pull out a mag light, twist it, and put that down, and all of a sudden that'll light up. And we're like, okay, so now we've got something playing with the flashlight. Or I've actually been to a location where even that didn't work. So I pulled out the dowsing rods, and those started getting interaction because I was dealing with a spirit from the 1800s that had no idea what any of this technology was. And, can you move these sticks for yes and no? Yes, yeah, and that's
they're used to using them for, back in the old days, use them for water,
right?
Use it for finding ore,
right?
There's a bunch of different things they use them for. So yeah, they'd be familiar with them.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's like I said, it's just like fishing. You got to try putting out your different things and see what hits and what doesn't hit, and sometimes you just come up with a big old skunk in the box, and that's the way it is, and sometimes you'll get your limit.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to wrap this up, my friend. We'll have to bring you back another time on the show and talk about more amazing adventures.
Absolutely.
For now, I'd like to thank everyone that tuned in tonight. I'm truly blessed to have you guys in my life. I'm blessed to have you in my life, Ed, to come on and hang out with and get out in the field with. So just a reminder, if you guys are looking for a reading, one of my blended readings, hit me up on Facebook. We can make arrangements for that. Also, you can also get some of the swag from Red Road and RezNeck from RezNeck Inc. That's INK Inc. At the Printify store.
Yep.
So other than that, Gwen, take us away.
Yep. SPIRE has a store too.